It's tractor therapy. You hear about it. Nobody can bother you. You can't really hear your phone ring. You just get on here and drive and think about, you know, what God's done for us, what God provides for us, what you can provide for yourself. How do you make it grow? What can you do to make your little piece of heaven better? So guys, we're down here in Dallas County, Alabama, where our family has just purchased a new farm. It's 1,225 acres. The project we're going to do is called 1225 an Alabama Farm. We had such a positive response with Project 17 that Tom and Casey did up on Tom's farm in Indiana. We thought, hey, let's take it to another level. This is a family farm that we purchased, and the big kicker of this is nobody can tell us what to do. It's time and money is our only limiting factor in this deal. So we brought Tom down to give us some pointers. He's going to draw up a plan that we need to follow step by step, how we're going to do it, what we're going to plant, what we're going to do. But we're going to take this thing in chunks. You know, we can't do the whole 1225. The biggest thing is we're going to start and we're going to do things the way that we know how to do them, things that have worked for us.
The biggest thing to me is that it's a blank slate. We bought it from a timber company, and their one goal was timber harvest and getting money from trees. That's one of our goals, but that's not our main goal. But what I do like is it's a family thing. It's something that eventually my kids will enjoy. Clay's kids, and this third one on the way is going to enjoy. Dale and Aaron and Rachel and Rebecca and their spouses and kids are also going to enjoy it. It's a whole family project. But all those decisions go in hand, and it's something that we get to agree on and do how we want to do it. And like you said, time and money, and Mom not being too hard on us on the checkbook, and we're not being too hard on her checkbook.
As we grow the 1225 an Alabama Farm, keep up with it. It's going to be like I said, it's a family thing. Watch our family grow, watch the property progress, and see what you like, what you don't like. But man, we are so excited about this. It's going to be a great thing for many, many years to come.
Hello, little buddy. What do you say? Roscoe P. Coltrane.
All right.
Here we go, Roscoe. You've had some recent clear cuts done. So a lot of these fields that look like just big open, brushy, weedy fields, those are early successional stuff. Some of them have new pines planted back in them. Some of them you have opted out for doing that. So there's a lot of great potential for us to do things in some of those areas, but we're gonna talk about the improvements that we can do with the available spaces that we've got, how to manage the timberlands, the pine timber, and then additionally the hardwoods, with the pine timber through fire, through thinning, to create ideal habitat for this part of the world. Your food sources, we're going to expand on them and improve the areas that you have. We're going to look at it today and have been for the perspective of the huntability of it, and for you guys to be able to get in and out of these fields undetected to keep the property fresh.
So Tom, we're here at the Sea Forever. This is one of the first fields we're going to look at, taking on this project that we've got going on. This is almost in the dead middle of the property. We call it See Forever because literally you can see forever. It's an old clear cut that we came in and probably planted pines 300 yards that way and probably 300 yards this way, and left everything in the middle just as you see it, just early successional. So what's your ideas on what we need to do here? Just your first thoughts.
Well, we looked at this on the map, and we've already sort of talked about the location of your shooting houses for what it is, as far as the perspective and the view sight lines you guys have here. One of the first things that I noticed when I pulled up here is we need to screen this for sure. And we talked about the equipment that you guys have access to. You've got a limitless supply of young cedar trees that we can get a tree spade and relocate some of those as more of an upper end effort. But we also have the ability just to plant some screening here too. But I think I'd like to see you guys be able to surround this box and the stairways coming down, and even across this entry to this lane, to the shooting lane down here, so that when you come up here to hunt, you've got a little pull off over there that you mentioned to me before, and you can hide your electric buggy or your e-bike or what have you and still be able to get in and out of this. If there are deer down there feeding when you arrive or when you leave, we don't want you spooking those off. But the sight lines here are incredible. This ditch, we'll call it a ditch, but it's basically an old road bed. That's going to restrict some of the views that we have down into some of those contour fields that we're going to create in your clear cut. All green plantings down there surrounding these draws. Same thing down in here. So we don't want this unnecessary obstruction of sight line in the way. You mentioned to me that you have the ability with some equipment to push this thing in and drop these trees into that draw there and burn them, and then get a dozer in here and just take the crown off that and sort of roll that in to create more of a gentle swale than it is a steep ditch right now. So that'll allow you to see forever again into those fields down there. We talked about this long road. This is the spine ridge in the middle of the property. What do you guys call this road?
The main road.
The main road. And you've got a beautiful strip of green planted all the way down the length of this road, perfectly parallel with it. Drops off into great cover on both sides, and the ideal spot is the intention there was that as an ideal spot for strutting turkeys and drawing turkeys up on top. However, when you're coming down that road, you are completely visible the entire length. If you're a deer in any one of these contour fields or looking up through the clear cut, you're being seen. So we talked that let's incorporate a band of switchgrass at the edge of your high top there that doesn't need to be more than 12 feet, 20 feet wide, and let that get 6 to 8 feet tall. For the wives and some of the family members, we talked about incorporating a band of wildflowers along the base of it. So you've got a real cool looking screen that's doubling up as an aesthetic value for you too, but that'll shut down the sight lines from anything down in the bottoms. If you're coming in here electrically or on foot, they won't even know you're in the same world. So let's propose that the entire length of this ridgetop road to make screening a very important asset here for you. So on these steep areas that look like basically brush fields, they are harvested pine. So basically we call them clear cut, you call them clear cuts down here. But these areas are fairly steep, and within that steep hillside though, there are contoured benches that run around the areas and follow the contour lines of these drainage draws, these little fingers and things that head down into the bottoms. We're going to look at it later today on an overhead map on the wall, but we're going to take some of those contour lines where those flatter bench areas are that will safely allow you to get a tractor and implement down there, follow those flatter contours, and plant those in fields within the clear cut. Some of these areas your family has gone back in and planted pines for future production. The rest of the places you've left open for habitat. So the areas above and below those green contour fields, we're going to call them, are early successional brush and weeds, and it's really a valuable component. A lot of times people think in timberland that it's either got to be a food plot or it's got to be woods. But these early successional fields a lot of times offer a whole bunch of opportunities for white-tailed deer and wild turkeys to get in there and get native forage. They'll be able to bug and feed and eat and have security at the same time. But we want to manage for that too. If you let it go, eventually it's going to get into the brush, then to the pole timber stage, early sapling stage, and then pole timber. So running a fire through those every so often will reset them. We also want to watch it for some problematic species and make sure that there may be some herbicide application from time to time.
Sweet gum. Ugh.
That's a big problem here.
They grow so fast, and they're not good for anything. I mean, so it's like your beech trees you talk about where you're at. You hate beech trees, I hate sweet gums because they're absolutely not good for anything in the habitat world. So
this is super exciting though, because it's huge fields. There'll be green areas in between with great food. There will be cover and native food on either side of it. Plus down in the draws, you have hardwood in your draws. You've got some of this conifer borderline stuff. So it's a great mosaic of different habitat types all coming together here. Turkey, deer, all your small game, it's all going to be super incredibly attractive, and it'll hold them well. And then you got the opportunity to sit up here and look and watch them. Again, we'll look at it on the overhead on the map because it'll make a lot more sense when people can see the contour lines and actually how steep this country is once you get off this flat top.
Yeah, and it's completely different than our other property at Sandwood. Sandwood was a lot more it was a little bit closer to the river, but it was a lot more flat. There were some undulations in there, but nothing like what it is over here.
This isn't mountainous. Yeah. I think northern Alabama is more mountainous than this, but this is certainly hilly, rolly country.
There's some places here you think, is he worth shooting? Because it's going to be tough to get him out of there. So,
awesome. Good start to today, though. This is a beautiful piece, and it's a great day, and we're going to have a lot of fun.